Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this week's Raw review. Just want to do a shout out to Azza. Really appreciate the support, buddy, and I appreciate it from all of you guys. We need to be quick because we've got loads to go through. These are my notes. They're absolutely insane this week. I honestly thought this week's show was one of the best Raws I'd seen this year, and it wasn't faultless. There are definitely things that were wrong with it. But I think if you was to take it down, and I know we've said this a million times, but if it was a 2-hour show rather than a 3-hour show, I honestly think you've got one of the best programmes on TV, because there's just so much good stuff in there, but it just gets watered down. I mean, Seth Rollins came out at the start, right? It's always great to see Seth. And it felt like it needed something. You know, TLC was a successful show for SmackDown. Raw needed to come out and make a statement. And what a statement. He comes out and he goes, look, I'm going to say something that needs to be said. I want Triple H. And you just go, right, yeah, good, yes, good. Let's go down this road. And he should be saying that. You know, he was cheated out of the Universal Championship. He's been in this kind of feud with KO and Jericho, and it was all getting a bit distracting and watered down. Bang, he comes out and he makes his intentions very clear, and he explains a few things. He was like, I need to get to Triple H. How do I do that? I win the Universal Championship. How do I do that? I have to beat Kevin Owens. How can I do that? I've got to get past Jericho. And so now it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that does actually make a bit of sense. I'd rather he came out and just went, right, I want Triple H. How do I get to Triple H? Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie, get out here. He couldn't do that because Stephanie wasn't at Raw, so he couldn't call out Steph. But I suppose I'm a bit more intrigued now to where they're going with it all. I mean, ultimately a Seth Rollins Triple H match at WrestleMania, I would imagine. But yeah, this has certainly given Raw the shot in the arm that it needed. KO comes out and announces that some matches have been made. Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn later on Raw. Seth against Jericho at Roadblock. He said this is a present for Jericho because Jericho was obviously attacked by Seth last week. Jericho against Roman for the US title on Raw this week. So yeah, I was really looking forward to that. And he said up next, Seth Rollins against Big Show. Big Show comes out. I honestly thought it was going to be Braun Strowman. Kevin Owens was saying that this match was made as a punishment for Seth. And so yeah, I fully expected Strowman to come out. I suppose they can't afford for Strowman to lose and they can't afford for Seth to lose. So it made sense having Big Show return and come back. Got a great response, Big Show did. Looked good as well. And he chose to walk away. He's doing a bit of face stuff at the moment because he was in a match with Seth. He was getting annoyed by Kevin Owens, who was shouting at him and giving him direction. And I think he choke slams KO, walks away, waving, shaking hands, high-fiving the crowd. Crowd were loving him. It was really good. I thought they booked that really well, and because of the chokeslam, Seth Rollins was able to then hit a pedigree on KO, and that was the end of the first segment and the first match, and I was thoroughly entertained all throughout. Really strong. They followed that up with Jack Gallagher against Daivari. This match wasn't as good as 205 Live, but it was still really just encouraging, really good to see a spotlight on Jack Gallagher. He is a talent. He does offer something different. It's just a shame that they couldn't exceed what they did on 205 Live last week. And as I said, for me it fell a little short, but still fun. And I was engaged. Jericho backstage telling Kevin Owens that they're not good, you know, they're not friends. I didn't know if this was a swerve. Obviously, Jericho has that match later against Roman Reigns, and I honestly thought that they were going to then both, you know, turn on Roman or beat up on Roman and find a way of getting that US title onto Jericho. That's what I was expecting. we might as well jump to it. That's not what happens. A fantastic match. I mean, let me find my notes on that match. A lion salt for 2, a Samoa drop into a Superman punch, gets a 2 for Roman, a code breaker into a power bomb, gets another 2 count. This is awesome chance. A small package into an enziguri, into the walls of Jericho. Roman powers out to boos. You know, people don't want to see Roman constantly overcoming the odds. KO comes down, kicks Roman in the head. Lovely. Gets a 2 count. A spear on a distracted Jericho. Jericho shouting at Kevin Owens, I didn't ask you to come out. Why are you down here? I can win this on my own. Spear, 1, 2, 3. Roman retains. As I said, I honestly thought that this was going to be Jericho's moment. You know, they were saying he's never won the US title. Everything was being built up. It makes perfect sense for Roadblock as well that you've got Kevin Owens against Roman Reigns for the Universal. You got Jericho against Seth for the US title. That made sense to me. That's not the direction that they've gone. Roman retains. I even wrote it there and I did a little sad face. I can't reenact it, but that's what I did. So yeah, really interesting. Again, you know, this further just building interest on that whole main event. It is disappointing to see Roman still being pushed. I'm sure even if you're a Roman Reigns fan, you'll have to agree that he's not the universally chosen champion. Although saying that, maybe that guy is Finn Balor and maybe he's just not in the picture at the moment. So everything changes again soon when we hit Rumble. Goldberg, Brock, surely Balor returns. It's only going to get better. Lana and Rusev have a fight. Enzo's watching it all. Really funny moment. Gets invited to a hotel room. I wrote the word there. Trap. Trap. I think we all knew it was a trap. We'll come back to it. Kevin Owens has his match against Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn still wants Braun Strowman. Great match. Great match. And the in-ring action this week was relatively strong in the big matches. As we said, you know, Jericho against Roman Reigns. Wonderful. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Wonderful. A powerbomb out of nowhere wins it for KO. Recap of last week's Charlotte Sasha main event, and then it's announced it's going to be an Iron Man match. Charlotte, Sasha, Roadblock, Iron Man, 30 minutes. I can't wait. This is the feud of the year. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone tells me. Charlotte, Sasha, those matches I will happily go back and watch again in order. I have loved them. Yeah, and I can't wait for this Iron Man match. Rich Swann against TJP, TJ Perkins. Awesome. You know, I was really into this because I've been waiting for Perkins to kind of get his opportunity at the title again, like a real opportunity. And this was a big win for Rich Swann, who looked good. Maybe a little bit filler, you know, it's at this point now for me that the show just started dipping, and I suppose this was the start of the dip. They really needed to come out and put on an amazing match because that's what this night was all about. This Raw was high standard, high level, and for me they didn't quite reach that level, and this was the start of the lull. If I was to take an hour out of the show, this is where I would do it. Next we get Bayley against Alicia Fox. Fox was jealous of Bayley because she gave Cedric Alexander a teddy bear. I mean, this is where Raw's getting bad reputation. If anyone from WWE, right, I don't care even if you hold the coats, yeah, for the superstars, tell them to stop doing this rubbish because they've got a great show, a great product, and then you've got a match being made because Bayley gave a teddy bear to Cedric Alexander. I mean, Bayley should be in Falls Count Anywhere Iron Man whilst in a crash cage match, yeah? Not in this rubbish. Bayley wins with a Bayley to belly anyway, and Enzo goes after Lana, gets a text. They just keep kind of teasing, you know, what was to come, and what was to come was brilliant. I could have done without this part of it. The tussle in Texas. Tail of the tape, they made a massive deal out of this. Titus O'Neil against Mark Henry. World's Strongest Slam won it for Henry. It was an absolute squash. Didn't get it. Don't know why this happened. I didn't like it. Enzo bumps into Ric Flair. It was fine. Again, could have done without it. This whole bit here from Rich Swann down to Enzo bumping into Ric Flair, I could have done without, and the show would have been better for all of it being deleted. Yeah. Jericho tells Kevin Owens to stay away. We obviously then go into the Roman Jericho match, which we've already spoken about. Jericho Seth is losing its impact now. You know, I mean, both guys don't like Kevin Owens now. There's no title on the line. I can't, you know, great. I understand, you know, Jericho doesn't like Seth because he beat him up last week. Seth doesn't like Jericho because he cost him a match. But all of this is because of Kevin Owens and the Universal Championship. Neither of them like him now. I just think things have moved on. I think I'm not massively into or looking forward to Jericho versus Seth Rollins. I think it'd be a great match, but I just think the main kind of backstory to it has drastically changed now. Rusev versus Big Cass. This was great. No show. You can see my reaction to this because I watched this before watching Raw. So Rusev, Big Cass, no show. Cass realises it's a trap. Goes and gets a phone, calls Enzo. Enzo ignores it. We see Enzo going into the hotel room, trying to, you know, being seduced by Lana. I was really pleased that he's going, I need to leave. This isn't right. I got to go. I'm uncomfortable. Because I don't want Enzo to be a heel, and Enzo is going into a married woman's hotel room. Yeah, you can't do that as a face. I mean, yeah, it's a bit cheeky and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, bottom line, it was a trap. Rusev beats up on Enzo, and it was great. You can see my reaction to it. As I said, I'll put links in the description. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Anderson and Gallows against Cesaro and Sheamus. Winners get a championship match next week. New Day will tie Demolition's record next week. They can beat it if they win that match next week. Oh my God, before I say anything else, did you see that crossbody from Cesaro? Man, like Superman jumping in the air. I know he's the Swiss Superman, but like he's the actual Superman because he flew. He like jumps in the air, massive crossbody. Like took him a year to get down. Absolutely amazing. Double count out, right? I think it was double count out. And so we get a triple threat next week. And again, you can see a video where New Day get told that it's going to be a triple threat. Really interesting stuff. Really fun stuff as well. So triple threat for the title next week. New Day have to win to beat that record, and I'm sure they will. Charlotte, this then gets us to the main event, and I did a video on this as well. Man, I've been a busy boy. Charlotte comes out claiming to be sorry, claiming that she is going to apologise to Ric Flair, saying that, you know, it really broke her heart to see him raise Sasha's hand. Out comes Ric Flair. She hugs him and then bang, slaps him in the face. That brings out Sasha. Charlotte beats up on Sasha. Ric Flair has to do, well, just has to watch. And that is how the show finishes, with a vicious beatdown on Sasha by a wonderful, wonderful heel, you know, tactics and antics by Charlotte. It was great work. She's great. I honestly don't get why people give Charlotte a rough time, because I think she's absolutely wonderful. As is Sasha. As I said, this is my feud of the year. I will do like a top 5, high 5, probably feuds of the year, wrestlers of the year, moments of the year, all that kind of stuff. All of that is to come. But I loved this segment, and I loved this Raw. As I said, you cut out that middle bit, you've honestly got one of the best Raws of the year, of the past few years. And I honestly think you've got one of the best TV shows on TV. They have to take Raw to 2 hours. They cannot successfully fill 3 hours. I don't know how long we're going to have to keep, you know, doing this. I don't see it changing anytime soon. Clearly, they're getting paid a lot of money from advertising, but yeah, this was good. This was real good. Really enjoyed it. Awesome, guys. I'm going to leave it at that because I could keep talking forever. If you like the video, please give it a like. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. And hopefully, I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.